Should I? या अभी भी आप ही?
That was my worry. He's not used to this role, right?
He just took over.
So I was like, yeah, over to you, sir.
Firstly, thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be here amongst our overseas Pakistanis, as we refer to all of you. And thank you, and Councillor Musa, thank you for being here. To open, I'd like to thank for you play a very critical role. I've known about Open since 2018. I was invited by Google in 2018 to give a keynote speech at the Google headquarters in Mountain View, California. And I came for that, and that's when I met with the Open, Silicon Valley ka zikr kar rahe the, the Open chapter at the time. I met those guys. So it's a real pleasure. Thank you very much for taking the time out and by gracing this occasion here and all, everything and whatever you want to ask.
Yeah, no,
By the way, since it is a fireside chat,
We'll try to keep the fire out of it, but we'll keep it in check. सबसे पहले तो I think we'll do a Urdu English mix, whatever you guys are comfortable with. First of all, early life. Obviously, your journey of being obviously the first pop artist, rapper, to the TV sort of journey, sports, entrepreneurship, philanthropy in terms of the various avenues. So just tell us about your early life.
So early life, childhood, extremely naughty. बिल्कुल इसमें कोई वो नहीं है, बहुत पिटा हूँ अपने वालदा के हाथों, चूँकि बहुत शरारती था. So there's no question. But I have to give credit to my parents because they ensured and instilled one very important thing in me, and that was not to be afraid to explore and to be curious. In our society, in Pakistan, हमारे माशरे में हम अपने बच्चों को उनकी क्यूरियोसिटी को कर्ब करने की कोशिश करते हैं. वो अगर कोई सवाल पूछने और वो अगर अनकंफर्टेबल सा सवाल हो तो हम उस सवाल का जवाब देने के बजाय उनको डांट देते हैं. देन वी से वहाँ ना जाओ, ये ना करो, वो ना करो. सो आई गॉट टू गिव क्रेडिट टू माई पेरेंट्स, स्पेशली माई फादर, that because my mother and my father used to have this argument. My mother would say कि नहीं आप रुकें इनको इस काम से, इसको नहीं करने देंगे. My father would say he's going to do what he has to do. So that played a very important role in my being the way I turned out to be, right? Because had my parents forced, now I've got to tell you this, my father insisted that I do a law degree, that I must go to Lincoln's in London, because Qaid-e-Azam वहाँ गए थे कि तुमने वहाँ से बार एट लॉ करना है, and फिर तुमने CSS करना है, और फिर तुमने सिविल सर्विस में जाना है, because he was a civil servant himself, he's a bureaucrat, he retired as a secretary to grade 22, and so that was his course in his mind for me. But because at the same time he'd also allowed me to express myself, to explore the world, I have charted my own course. So full credit to my parents for ensuring that they were rigid, they were boundaries, ये नहीं कि boundaries नहीं थी, लेकिन ये था कि थोड़ा सा एक liberty भी थी कि आपने जिस तरह करना है. So that's how the childhood went. And then of course right from my childhood I was absolutely fascinated with airplanes. I was absolutely fascinated by cricket. I loved cricket. गली मोहल्ले में खेलते cricket थे, and so the journey of life. That's how it started.
Oh, that's great. So curiosity. In terms
Keyword
of,
is curiosity.
Keyword is curiosity. In terms of, if obviously people know you in different capacities, what would be the one thing that people should know about you, wouldn't know about you, or would be shocked to know about you? How would you respond to that?
Should एक एक करके बताओ.
एक एक करके बताएं.
So what was the first one?
Would not know about you.
Okay.
Should know about you.
Right.
Or would be shocked to know about you.
Would not know about me. I think a lot of people would not know that I am actually a introvert. And that's something that doesn't go with. But there is a concept of introvert extrovert. So but on the other, reality is आपको लगा होगा कि मैं बड़े confidently इस कमरे में आया हूँ. आपस की बात है कि वो पेट में गुदगुदियाँ होनी थी बाहर बैठा हुआ था बर्तन तक खाने का. So to be very honest with you, that's something that a lot of people would not have said. No, the way. No, I am actually very, very shy. Actually, that's a fact, right? But I kind of work at it every time that I have to do something like that. That's something that you wouldn't know. Something that you should know is that I am absolutely and without apology a very proud Pakistani.
Yeah.
I do not hesitate in expressing my love for the country. और वो होता ये है कि बहुत सारे because हम जिस line of work में हैं तो हमारे पड़ोसी मुल्क के साथ बहुत सारे दोस्तों से इंटरेक्शन होती है, मैं नोट करता हूँ कि हमारे पाकिस्तानी है ना, जब वो when we're talking to other nationalities and all that everything, it feels like there is an apologetic tone in the middle of it, right? There, you know, the ideas of, oh, terrorism, oh, Osama bin Laden was found in Pakistan. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be apologetic about it, because if 1 to 20 or 1,000 people are going to identify the brand of my country, it would rather be people like me and you guys, and not the ones that the rest of the world wants to highlight. So I'm very, I would like this to be known that I am very proud of my nationality. There's no two ways. And to date, I do not have another passport. I am still travel the world on a Pakistani passport, right? And all कोई रहेगी कि
Shocked आपने cover कर दिया इसके introvert is in the shock category for me. I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
Switching gears to, I mean, knowingly, unknowingly, given all that you have done, you are an inspiration to many Pakistanis, non-Pakistanis, and people have seen your journey in different capacity and probably have associated in whichever way they want to get inspired. What inspires you, or what has inspired you to be able to just sort of, you know, switch or pivot in so many ways? Typically, you know, people go into one line of work and they stick, and then maybe 1 or 2 pivots. But you have so much diversity of experiences, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So in the context of leadership, what is one thing that inspires you?
So the thing that truly inspires me is the ability of human beings to do remarkable things. And I mean any human being, right? It doesn't have to be from one particular ethnicity, nationality, or group, but just as human beings, the ability for human beings to do things which are extraordinary. That inspires me. Okay, as human beings, हम इंसान बहैसियत इंसान हमने क्या कुछ अचीव किया? And I think if you go into human history, and let's talk about technology for instance, from working out mathematics, remember that there was a time there was no math, yes? So from creating a universal language to coming to where we are today, and we're looking and staring down artificial intelligence. Intelligence created by human beings, right? So that inspires me, that as human beings, God has gifted us with the ability to do the most unthinkable things, the most remarkable things. So that truly inspires me. यार हम, you know, अशरफुल मखलूकात हैं, अल्लाह ने हमें अशरफुल मखलूकात बनाया है, तो मतलब बड़ी एबिलिटी दी है हमें. तो आज हम क्या है? आज हम एक नई इंटेलिजेंट लाइफ फॉर्म जो है तरतीब देने, यानी क्या AI जो है, which will take over, you know, most of our jobs in one way or the other, but it is us who has innovated this. So that inspires me, the ability of human beings to do remarkable things. That's a driving force in me.
Ties logically back to your curiosity element.
Yes.
So that does well. And on AI, I was just somewhere earlier, and I wrapped up a panel, and I said by the time I walked off, something has already changed, right? So that's the pace of the change, and the curiosity that he highlighted is probably key for us as well to stay engaged. On that, Fakhar bhai, inspiration and the leadership, through all the experiences again, any one event, any one experience that had an impact on you professionally or personally?
Personally, a very big turning point in my life was the 2005 earthquake in Pakistan. That is etched in my memory forever. So for a lot of young people who would not remember that particular event in our history, 2005 में पाकिस्तान में एक बड़ा तबाहकुन ज़लज़ला आया था, especially northern parts of Pakistan, and you know, more than some estimates say more than 100,000 people died that day, right? And I made a voluntary call in Karachi city and asking the city to get involved and come help us, as I was getting information from friends and sources on the ground up in the north कि भी फलां चीज़ हमें नज़र आ रहा है, खाना चाहिए होगा, लोगों को शेल्टर चाहिए होगा. तो मैंने एक अपील की, वो टीवी चैनल पे जाके रात को कोई 8 बजे, पहले दिन ज़लज़ला आया था, सुबह का टाइम था, शाम को so how it really started, by the way, this is a very interesting story I must share. उस ज़माने में ये व्हाट्सएप वगैरह नहीं होते थे, हमारे पास नॉर्मल वाले सेल फोन होते थे जिसमें टेक्स्ट मैसेज चलता था, जो नॉर्मल टेक्स्ट मैसेज होता है, SMS हम जिसे कहते हैं. तो हुआ यूँ कि मेरे घर में जो एक हमारा खामसामा था, वो आज़ाद कश्मीर का था, वो बड़ा रैटल हो गया जब उसने खबरें देखी सारी, क्योंकि शुरू में सुबह के कुछ 4-6 घंटे अर्थक्वेक के बाद सारा फोकस जो था वो इस्लामाबाद में जो एक इमारत गिरी थी मरगला टावर्स के नाम से, एवरीबडी वाज फिक्सेटेड ऑन दैट. Meanwhile, I had friends who had either relatives or somebody actually up in the mountains in Balakot and all that, sending back कि नहीं भाई यहाँ तो पूरे गांव और शहर जो हैं फ्लैट हो गए. You know, the devastation is massive. And then information was trickling down. तो मेरा जो घर पे थे जो खानसामा था, डोमेस्टिक हमारी हेल्थ थी, उन्होंने he was very worried because he was calling his family up and he couldn't get through because cellular towers had also collapsed, right? So he couldn't get through, there was no signal up there and everything. So then he finally got through to somebody on a landline. और उसने कहा कि नहीं ये तो एक पीसीओ में उधर बच गया, कुछ हुआ, somebody called him कि पीसीओ बच गया, बाकी है कि तुम्हारा घर जो है वो गिर गया, but तुम्हारी फैमिली सेफ है. So he was very relieved and all, but you know there is no more home for you and all. So he said कि सर तो मैं अगर आपकी इजाज़त हो तो मैं चला जाऊँ. मैंने कहा इजाज़त की क्या बात है, तो नेशनल तो इमरजेंसी है, you must go immediately. तो वो बस से, मैंने कहा नहीं बस का टाइम नहीं है, आई बॉट हिम अ टिकट कि टेक एन एयर टिकट एंड गेट टू इस्लामाबाद एंड देन फ्रॉम देयर यू कैन यू नो, अदरवाइज 2 दिन एक्स्ट्रा लग जाते उसको पहुंचने में. तो जब वो जा रहा था तो उसने कहा कि सर ये यू नो दिस वाज अराउंड 4:30 इन द आफ्टरनून ऑन द डे ऑफ द अर्थक्वेक. एंड आई सेड कि यार एक काम करता हूँ, तुम एक काम करो, तुम जाने से पहले जो है वो खाने पीने की अशिया खरीदो मार्केट से जाके फटाफट, और भी जो तुम्हें समझ में कोई दवाइयाँ शवाइयाँ जो ज़रूरियात हो सकती हैं, क्योंकि उस वक्त मेरी भी इसके बारे में कुछ ज़्यादा अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं थी कि किस किस्म के डिस्ट्रक्शन हुई है. सो अराउंड 6 PM दैट डे वो सामान लेकर आया, तो मैंने उसने कहा सर ये मैं ले जाऊँगा कैसे. मैंने कहा काम करो ना, यहाँ से ट्रक बुक कर दो, गाड़ी बुक कर दो, गाड़ी के ऊपर चढ़ा देते हैं. तो वो जब ट्रक आया तो ट्रक बहुत बड़ा था, हमने जब सामान लोड किया तो हार्डली एक कोना उसका ट्रक का. तो मैंने अपने 1-2 दोस्तों को मैसेज किया कि यार ये मैं सामान भिजवा रहा हूँ अपने बंदे के साथ, तो मे बी अगर आप में से किसी को कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करना है तो वो डबल रोटियाँ और ये वो सब ला के देते जाओ. वो आई सेंट अ कपल ऑफ SMS मैसेजेस. While I did that and a lot of my friends responded, हाँ मैं ये लेकर आ रहा हूँ, मैं फला लेकर आ रहा हूँ, मेरे पास ये है. हम वो ट्रक भरना शुरू हुआ, इतनी देर में अब खबर आनी शुरू हो गई कि जी बालाकोट में बड़ी तबाही हो गई है और मुजफ्फरगढ़ में बड़ी हो गई है और ये हो गया, और गांव नीलम वैली में बड़ी डिस्ट्रक्शन हुई है. So then at 7 PM I called up one of the owners of the television channel, TV1 में एक हमारे फोन पे होते हैं, ताहिर खान के मालिक ने. मैंने उनको कहा कि यूँ है, मैं अगर आपकी इजाज़त दो आपके चैनल में से एक अपील कर दूँ, और आज TV के बिजनेस रिकॉर्डर वाले उनसे कहा कि मैं अगर अपील कर दूँ. एयरफोर्स वालों को मैंने फ़ोन किया कि आपको कुछ कोऑर्डिनेशन कर देंगे, क्योंकि आई हैव लॉट ऑफ डोनेशन. वो एक ट्रक से सामान मेरा बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है, तो अगर कोई C-130 जा रहा है तो उसमें आप सामान भेजें ऊपर रोड की उसमें. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है आप एक काम करें, आप उधर PF म्यूजियम है शारा फैसल कराची में, आप उधर ले आए सामान और हम वहाँ से कुछ पैलेट्स जो भी जहाज़ जा रहा हो उसको चढ़ा. वो मैंने कहा अच्छा, मैंने कहा यार ट्रक भरने में इतनी मुसीबत हो गई थी तो ये जहाज़ कैसे भरेंगे. तो मैंने TV पे अपील कर दी. एंड आई वांट टू टेल यू बिकॉज व्हाई इट इज़ अ डिफाइनिंग मोमेंट इन माई लाइफ एंड हाउ इट चेंज्ड मी, कंप्लीटली चेंज माई पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन लाइफ. जब मैंने कहा जी कल सुबह आप सबसे गुजारिश है, कराची के तमाम दोस्तों से, शहर जो लोग हैं, दवाइयाँ, खाने पीने की अशिया, घर में अगर आपके पुराने कोई ठंड कपड़े हैं, कोई कंबल हैं, रज़ाइयाँ हैं, तो प्लीज़ ये सारी आप इधर एयरफोर्स बेस पे ला दीजिए, हम बराए C-130 को सामान को आगे ऊपर भेजेंगे. ये मैंने शाम को 8 बजे TV पे जाके अपील की 2 चैनल्स के ऊपर, तो रात उन्होंने वो खबरों में चलाते रहे उसको. अगले दिन सुबह मुझे बेस कमांडर जो थे उन्होंने कहा कि जी आप एक काम करिएगा कि आप सुबह 7 बजे आ जाइएगा, ताकि आप अपनी मौजूदगी में जो भी आपने कलेक्शन करनी है ना वो कर लीजिए. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, मैंने कहा कि TV पे मैंने कह दिया तो ज़रा सामान ज़्यादा अगर आ जाए तो 2-3 जहाज़ों का सामान मेरा ख्याल है हम कर लेंगे. मतलब मेरी तरफ से था कि हम 2-3 जहाज़ों का सामान कर लेंगे. एंड सो आई एम नाउ देयर बाय 7 in the morning. एक शामियाना लगाया हमने उसके पार्किंग लॉट में, और मैं वहाँ जाके खड़ा हो गया, और 2-4 मेरे दोस्त भी थे, कुछ वो लोकल एयरफोर्स के अपने लोग भी थे, वो खड़े थे. मैंने 7:30 बजे देखी एक गाड़ी आई, फैमिली आई, डबल रोटियाँ निकाली. पैलेट्स हमने रखे हुए थे, जो जहाज़ में पैलेट लोड होता है कि आप उस पर सामान रखते जाएँ. एंड विद इन 20 minutes ऑफ दैट फर्स्ट कार आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड सीइंग कि वो तो लाइन लगना शुरू होती जा रही है, लाइन लगना शुरू होती जा रही है. बट वाइल ये लाइन जब लग रही थी, दिस इज द थिंग दैट यू नो, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई से आई एम वेरी प्राउड एज अ पाकिस्तानी, बिकॉज दीज आर द मोमेंट्स दैट गाड़ियाँ आ रही थी लाइन में, लोग अपना सामान, कोई रज़ाइयाँ दे रहे हैं, कोई कुछ दे रहे हैं. तो आई कुड सी, चूंकि बहुत दूर था वो पार्किंग लॉट, बहुत बड़ा, इट्स लाइक अ ह्यूज पार्किंग लॉट। मैंने वहां पर देखा कि एक बंदा पैदल आ रहा है कुर्ते शलवार में, और उसने अपने सर के ऊपर ना एक इतनी बड़ी गड्ढी, मतलब आई वुड सेइंग यार ये बंदा पता नहीं कैसे उठा के लेकर आ रहा है सामान, एंड ही इज सो फार अवे दैट वी कांट रियली गो अप टू हिम टू हेल्प, एंड बट ही इज वॉकिंग एंड he's got something in his hand here as well. So he came, and where we were standing, he came straight to me. बेटी यार जल्दी के सामान नहीं देना है प्लीज। उससे वो गठरी उठाई ऊपर से, एंड इट वाज ह्यूज, आई एम नॉट एग्जैजरेटिंग, दिस इज समथिंग यू वुड सी कि यार ये ह्यूमनली पॉसिबल नहीं है, इसने बैलेंस कैसे की हुई है। उससे वो रखा, हाथ में उसके एक थैली थी जिसमें एक डबल रोटी और एक मिल्क पैक था, वो दूध का डब्बा, उससे वो रखा। तो उस समय मेरे घर में जितने कपड़े थे सर्दियों के, क्योंकि यहाँ कराची में तो इतनी सर्दी पड़ती नहीं है, मैं सारे ले आया, और ये रजाइयाँ भी मेरे घर की जितनी है वो ले आया। This is not a well-to-do guy. This is somebody from, you know, you can tell from what kind of neighborhood he come from. And you know, जाते जाते उसने क्या किया, उसने देखा सब कुछ हो गया ठीक है, तो he was turning around and I was like, you know, and I was looking at a friend of mine and smiling. यार, can you imagine? ये बंदा जो है वो अपना probably अपने घर में सब कुछ जो है उठा के लेकर आ गया। वो रुका, वापस मुड़ा, and he took off his shoes. जूती पहनी थी उसने, पेशावरी चप्पल, और उसने जूती उतार के ना कहा ये भी किसी के काम आ जाएगी, वो रख के नंगे पाँव चला गया वहां से कमर करके। That one moment is a moment that brought tears into my eyes. That one moment changed my entire life. कि एक आदमी जिसके पास शायद गालिबन यही था सब कुछ उसके लिए, जो पैदल आ रहा था, यानी कि वो कहीं से बस पे बैठ के आया अपने उससे, और अपने घर के, और उसके पास पैसे जो थे वो एक डबल रोटी के और वो थे, वो उससे दुकान से खरीदे, बाकी सब पुरानी चीजें वो लेकर आके वो दे के चले गए। That's the great nation that we are in. That's the moment that redefined my own identity in my head. And these are the people that I love.
Well, again, it depends. You see the life or the world glass half full or empty. So I think that's the great takeaway. From your experiences, last question on leadership, and then we'll pivot relevant to the audience and the entrepreneurship. One myth about success or leadership that you would say people should stop believing in. One leadership lesson you would want everybody to know.
Everybody thinks that, oh, you've made it to the top and that's it. Let me tell you something. Making it is not the issue. Staying there is the biggest issue. I think तारीख में आपको ये बार बार देखने को मिलता है, और सिर्फ बिजनेस के और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के बारे में नहीं बात कर रहा। I think history will tell you over and over and over again that there are people who've done exceptional things and gotten to a leadership position, but then staying there was a real challenge, and that's when you're truly tested. When you get there, when you're leading something, whether it's your business or whether it's an organization or whether it is a movement or whether it is a political party or whether it is a system or whether it is anything like that, is you get there, and how do you stay there? How do you perform exceptionally well there? Because you might not have a boss to fire you, but you do still have to be accountable to yourself, and results have to speak for themselves. So I think the myth that, oh, ये तो बस अब तो याशी है भाई, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं, बिल्कुल गलत फहमी है, उल्टा और प्रेशर बढ़ जाता है वहाँ पहुँच।
So I like one more question. I was just thinking, so in a very limited time, जितना भी interaction आपके साथ हुआ, I always wonder कि he multitasks. There is always something going on. Anytime you speak to the Misbah bhai or Fakhar bhai is either on a plane or he's tweeting "Chal Musafir, chal dobara" or whatever the case is. So, from an experience perspective, from the little bit of travels we have had, I always wonder how do you compartmentalize? And I ask this question in the context of time management, because a lot of us have different personalities. Either you are, I have friends and you probably know people who are compartmentalized. मुझे एक काम करना है. Unless I finish that, I cannot move on. And while in my little bit of a humble experience is that you have to have an ability to pivot quickly, and that's an art and a skill as well. So, in your experience, how do you do it? And if I were to ask you, Fakhar, any tip or advice for us? How do you manage time and do multiple things?
So time management is a skill, but really I don't practice like time management, or I don't really have a formula to it, right? Yes, I do multitask a lot because I have a lot of things going on simultaneously, and I have a lot of things that need my undivided attention simultaneously, and one of them being a father, you know. So So I've got to really be hands on and all that. I remain switched on. मतलब मेरा ख्याल है कि मैं सो भी रहा होता हूँ तो मेरे दिमाग में कोई ना कोई काम चल रहा होता है कि सुबह ये उठ के होना है या ये आज नहीं हुआ और वो चीज़ खत्म, you know, so it's an ongoing thing, right? But there is really no, I can't say that I do time management. वो एक किस्सा मैं आपको बताता हूँ. जब थोड़े से ना ज़िंदगी में थोड़ी तरक्की हुई, कामयाबी हुई, तो कुछ पैसे आए ना, तो मैं पहली दफ़ा अपने, मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड था कराची में, तो I went to buy a watch, expensive luxury watch. तो मैंने उससे कहा तू चल, दोस्त को लेके गया, गवाह को, कि चलो मैं तो घड़ी लेने जा रहा हूँ साथ में. मैं गया, 4 घंटे मैं दुकान में जो मैंने लगाए, घड़ी मैंने ली और डब्बा लेके आया, गाड़ी में बैठा, तो मेरा दोस्त है ना, मुझे मुड़े कहते हैं क्या फ़ायदा इतनी महंगी घड़ी का, टाइम पे तो तुमने कहीं पहुंचना नहीं है फिर भी क्या फ़ायदा इतनी घड़ी का. And you know, I realized how he has actually, he stated the most important thing. It's not the watch, ठीक है ना, it's the time, ठीक है ना. तो वो और फिर वो तो इसकी भी बहुत सारी कहावतें हैं कि you know, वक्त बता रहता है इंसान को अपनी औकात, you know, so there are so many things that are going on, but I don't practice anything that, oh okay, there is a time thing. Yes, of course, in my corporate world as vice chairman of Dubai Ports World, DP World, there's a very, you know, rigid schedule, timelines when I'm at that job, that I have to make sure that everything is get on. But other than that, listen, आज मैं आपको wait कर रहा था.
Switching gears to entrepreneurship, in a lot of our experiences, so I'm in the corporate world, probably making any entrepreneurial decision is probably the most scariest thing. You keep thinking, and by the time you're ready to go for it, somebody has already taken it and it's like 5 miles away from you. In the scariest decision from an entrepreneurship that you have made, but it paid off.
So 2004 में 2004, I was दुबई नया नया ना शोज होना शुरू हुए थे, पाकिस्तानी एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री के शोज वगैरह होने शुरू हुए थे. ARY एक हमारा चैनल है, उनका हेडक्वार्टर दुबई में बना, तो बहुत सारा ना लोगों का आना जाना दुबई का, कराची दुबई शुरू हुआ. सो आई यूज्ड टू गो टू दुबई अ लॉट फॉर शोज, एंड मैं दुबई जब भी जाऊँ तो मैं कहूँ कि यार, चूँकि कराची से आते थे तो दुबई जो था वो बड़ा ही हमें डिफरेंट लगता था. सो वेस्ट का वेस्ट और ईस्ट का ईस्ट, एक यू नो, एक लाइक अ परफेक्ट ब्लेंड दैट यू वुड फाइंड. तो मैंने कहा कि यार, यू नो, दिस इज़ अ वेरी नाइस प्लेस. सो 2003 में मैंने एक प्रॉपर्टी जो है वो दुबई में, 2003 की बात आपको बता रहा हूँ मैंने वो चूँकि डेवलपर भी पाकिस्तानी थे और वो मुझे फ्लाइट पे मिले, तो उन्होंने कहा आपने कुछ इन्वेस्ट किया दुबई में? मैंने कहा जी मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, तो मुझे तो पता ही नहीं. उन्होंने कहा मैं बिल्डिंग बना रहा हूँ तो यू शुड इन्वेस्ट इन दैट बिल्डिंग. तो उनका नाम था रऊफ मछियारा, तो वो टावर अपना बना रहे थे, तो उन्होंने कहा आप उसमें ले लें. तो मैंने कहा लोग सुने, मैं फनकार टाइप आदमी हूँ, कभी हमारे पास पैसे होते हैं कभी नहीं होते, ठीक है. तो अगर आप किस्तों पे दे रहे हैं तो ये याद रखिएगा कि मुझे किस्तों के लिए तंग ना कीजिएगा, ये बहुत ज़रूरी बात है इसकी. दिस वाज द कॉन्वर्सेशन इन रियलिटी. तो मैंने कहा यू नो, समटाइम्स वी आर गुड, समटाइम्स वी नॉट सो गुड, सो यू हैव टू. उन्होंने कहा डोंट वरी. तो उन्होंने कहा, मैंने उनके साथ 2 यूनिट्स बुक कर दी. कम्स 2004 एंड दुबई मार्केट स्टार्ट्स पिकिंग अप. तो एक दिन उन्होंने मुझे फ़ोन किया, मैं को 3 किस्तें दे चुका था, 2 यूनिट से मेरे पास, 2 अपार्टमेंट से, तो 3 किस्तें दे चुका था, चौथी 5वीं मिस हो गई थी मुझसे. तो उनका फ़ोन आया ना, तो मैंने कहा वो मुझे फ़ोन करने शर्मिंदा करने के लिए कि आपकी किस्तें नहीं आई हैं. तो मैंने फ़ोन उठाया बड़े डरते डरते. तो उन्होंने कहा क्या हाल है आपका? मैंने कहा जी बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक हूँ. तो उन्होंने कहा कि सुने, वो एक चीज़ मैं बताऊँ आपको. मैंने कहा क्या? आप अपना एक अपार्टमेंट बेच दें. मैंने कहा चूँकि मैं किस्तें नहीं दे रहा तो आप मुझसे तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, मैं आपको एक चीज़ बता रहा हूँ, आप अपना एक अपार्टमेंट बेच दें और वो अपार्टमेंट विल पे ऑफ द अदर अपार्टमेंट एंड यू डोंट हैव टू पे एनीथिंग मोर. मैंने कहा है ये कौन सी रॉक, कोई नई साइंस है ये? मैंने कहा फॉरेन भाई, तो ये तो कोई बात नहीं, पूछने की बात है. So I got that one apartment, and then that apartment's value just started going up, and he would call me every, you know, month or 2 months कि यार बेच रहा है, बड़े अच्छे, इतने हो गए. Then I invested some more in Dubai, and then like everybody else, क्योंकि वो एक बैंड वैगन चल पड़ी थी, हर कोई पहुंच गया था दुबई. हम भी जनाब जो पैसे आए वो दुबई में प्रॉपर्टी बुक कर लो, एक और ये बुक कर लो. And then 2008 happened, okay, and the global crash happened, and everybody's dreams just came crashing down. तो मुझे सब लोग जो पाकिस्तान से आए हुए थे खास तौर पे, सब यार छोड़ चुप करके, चूँकि because you're legally obligated to pay the installments, right? So many people abandoned their homes, their cars, their businesses, and they just took off. अच्छा मैंने कहा यार that's not the way this has got to be. I can do it. So I went through that 2008-9 phase, and I kept paying, and I kept steady. I said I'm not going to let go. I've already lost so much. I don't want to completely write this off and all that. And I went through 2008, 2009, 2010, and came 2011, and things started changing. And since then, it has been just remarkable, and we've just seen things going up and up. So that was a decision that I think was the scariest, because I was always questioning myself. 2009-10 तो मैं मुसलसल अपने आप को question करता रहा कि ये कि मैं पता नहीं I don't know what's going to happen. I'll either lose everything or not. So it paid off. That's one decision.
On the similar thread, with the community here, I think one of the things is how can we help Pakistan? What's the environment like? So based on your interaction, obviously I read it in the beginning how you were engaged in terms of bringing the investment in Pakistan. People here, how can they help? Number one. But before they even think about getting help, what's the message? कि भैया इतना scary काम नहीं है, आप ये करें. And then when you look, so I'll come to it, but let's stop there. What would be your ask or message?
So Qasim, I'll give you. So before coming on this trip, I was watching the news and I was looking at what was happening in LA, and I was saying, यार अमेरिका तो बड़ी खतरनाक जगह है, ठीक है? And then every other day there's a story कि वो immigration पे green card वाले को वापस भेज दिया, तो students को deport कर दिया. So remember, every country in the world has its own set of challenges. Pakistan has its own set of challenges. हो सकता है कि हम लोग जो, so what happens is, अगर आप bias निकाल देना, आपका कोई भी you could have a bias, political bias, you could have other issues, you could have had a bad experience yourself which has created a bias in you. वो सारी चीजें अपनी जगह छोड़ दें. I want to ask you, उन्होंने कहा भी वो पाकिस्तान को 30 CEOs आ रहे हैं आपके पास. Have you ever paused and thought that Pakistan में there are global giants in Pakistan that operate? There is Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble, Unilever. These are global multinationals. And have you ever paused and said, because they're very transparent organizations, you can actually find their data, their financial data online, right? Most of these companies you can find. And that they show growth every year. And they've shown growth for decades. मतलब 20-30 साल, बल्कि 40 साल से काम कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में. And they've been growing constantly. What does that tell you? That tells you that Pakistan has absolutely full potential. Yes, we need reform. इसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं. Yes, we have a challenge with corruption. इसमें भी कोई शक की बात नहीं. Yes, we have problems with the law and order. Yes, we have a terrorism problem. But we are 240 million and growing population, which is a consumer base, which needs to eat and drink and feed itself and educate itself and ride a bike to work or a motorcycle or a car to go to their destination and so forth and so on. So this, so being concerned about Pakistan mein, yes, Pakistan has challenges, but so do other countries in the world. But that doesn't mean कि वहाँ पे business होना बंद हो जाए. ऐसे नहीं होता. There are so many Democrats in United States of America, businessmen. You have so many, billionaires and all that, who are not aligned with the current administration's vision. But they haven't stopped doing business in the United States of America and said, okay, I'm going. मैं तो नहीं करता, मैं बंद. It doesn't work like that. As Pakistanis or overseas Pakistanis, you have to, and then most importantly, as entrepreneurs and investors, you have to look at the most important thing. What is that? The P&L, profit and loss. If I will invest, what will I get? And of course, you put in the risk matrix in it and say, what is my risk exposure? How can I mitigate this risk? All of those things are there. And then the government of Pakistan. The government of Pakistan is trying. We've gone through a very difficult political period in Pakistan's history, right? But as the Council General just mentioned, that there are so many great news coming out of Pakistan. छोटी छोटी पे ना अगर आप पॉजिटिव, हम नेगेटिव देखने पे आ जाए तो भाई फिर तो इतना नेगेटिव है, इतना नेगेटिव है। और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारा जो मीडिया है वो तो नेगेटिव को ऐसे दिखाता है कि जैसे कि मतलब वो है, विच इज फाइन, बिकॉज वो रेटिंग का चक्कर है, उनकी अपनी ऑब्लिगेशंस है, उनकी अपने चैलेंजेस है ना, उनको भी एक बिजनेस रन कर रहे हैं। दैट बिजनेस रन्स व्हेन सनसनी खबर आपको बता देंगे, बहुत सारों के यूट्यूब के चैनल भी वो सनसनी खबर और बस यूं और वो, दैट्स नॉट हाउ कंट्रीज ऑपरेट। A country has to work on a greater purpose, on a greater level, the growth. Now, बहुत सारे लोग सवाल नहीं करते हैं, नहीं इस बिजनेस का क्या फायदा, गरीबों का क्या फायदा। अरे भाई, कोई भी एक कारोबार होता है, उस कारोबार के साथ कुछ नौकरियां जुड़ी होती हैं, ठीक है, तो वो घर चल रहे होते हैं, प्लस हर कारोबार के पीछे फिर एक और पूरा इकोसिस्टम होता है जो दूसरे कारोबार चला रहा होता है। ऐसे ही होता है ना दुनिया को, ये दुनिया के एक मैंने फास्ट फूड का रेस्टोरेंट खोल लिया है तो बस वही एक कारोबार है तो मेरा ही फायदा हो जा रहा है। नो, देयर आर, सो व्हाट, हमारे मुल्क में एक और बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो गई है, वेल्थ क्रिएशन को विलिफाई कर दिया गया। यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। सोसाइटी को इस तरह रिग कर दिया गया है, इस तरह लोगों के दिमाग में ये बातें बिठा दी गई है कि वेल्थ क्रिएशन को विलिफाई कर दिया गया, वो इतने पैसे आ गए। और फिर ऊपर से क्या है कि अपनी नाकामियों को छुपाने के लिए एक फितरतन क्या काम होता है, अपनी नाकामी को छुपाने के लिए बेस्ट काम है अगले पे कीचड़ उछालते रहो। ये एक अनफॉर्चुनेट है, दिस इज हाउ वी हैव बिकम। वी शुड नॉट बी नेगेटिव लाइक दिस, वी नीड टू सपोर्ट ईच अदर। आई टेल यू, आई लिव इन दुबई। दुबई इज अ प्लेस वेयर, सो 23 साल से दुबई मेरा घर है, ठीक है। दुबई में 193 नेशनैलिटीज इकट्ठा कोएग्जिस्ट करती हैं परफेक्ट हार्मनी के अंदर। लेकिन मैं आपको एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात मैं बताता हूँ। मैंने एक चीज़ नोट की है कि हमारे पड़ोसी मुल्क के जो दोस्त हैं वो दुबई में एक दूसरे को एलिवेट कर रहे होते हैं, वो पुश कर रहे होते हैं, और पाकिस्तानी जो हैं वो एक दूसरे की टांग खींचने में लगे होते हैं कि यार ये इसको ये कैसे आगे निकल गया। सो वी हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग डिफरेंटली, वी हैव टू स्टॉप विलिफाइंग वेल्थ। Wealth is a good thing because wealth actually shows that there is progress. Progress का by product prosperity है। Prosperity को हमें vilify नहीं करना चाहिए। हमें चाहिए कि हम encourage करें लोगों को। I'll give you a very simple example. अभी हम एक होटल बना रहे हैं लथियागरी। इसको it's a double tree Hilton. It's the first double tree Hilton that is being opened in Pakistan. So we are actually 27th को we have a soft opening of this month, and then we'll be fully in business. नाउ जब ये होटल बन रहा था तो पहले तो बहुत सारे, सो मेरे एक और पार्टनर है उसके अंदर, हु इज आल्सो एन ओवरसीज पाकिस्तानी। एंड हम लोग जब ये प्रोजेक्ट हमने शुरू किया था तो उस वक्त बहुत सारे लोग सवाल करते थे कि अभी पागल हो गए क्या, इतने पैसे लगाओगे, ये करोगे, वो करोगे, यू नो इट्स ऑलमोस्ट $67 million प्रोजेक्ट, राइट। तो क्यों, और ये वो, व्हाट पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट देयर आर नंबर्स दैट बैक दिस डिसीजन। Domestic tourism has increased so much in Pakistan in the last few years that it is unbelievable. It is really unbelievable कि domestic tourism इतनी increase। उसकी एक वजह क्या थी, रुपी वीक हुआ, तो बहुत सारे लोग जो पाकिस्तान से बाहर जाते थे उन्होंने कहा नहीं यार अब तो महंगा हो गया बहुत ज़्यादा, तो फैमिली के साथ अब यहीं पे चलो। So they started exploring Pakistan. And when you started exploring Pakistan, you had a big boom that has happened in the northern areas, right? And the northern areas are not prepared to handle this kind of boom. So उसका आपको मैं रिजल्ट बताता हूँ क्या हुआ। एक आपको याद है मरी में एक हादसा हो गया था, बर्फ पड़ी हुई थी और इतने टूरिस्ट थे, ट्रैफिक जैम हो गई, उन्होंने उनको कमरे नहीं दिए, so many people died that day, right? So we are not, then there have been traffic jams which have lasted 16 hours in the mountains because so many tourists have arrived and वो गाड़ियाँ फंस गई हैं और अब वो 14-15 घंटे तक वो इंतजामिया रखी हुई है उसको नहीं। But that all indicates to you one thing, that there is tourism potential. So that's why we invested. So the story of Pakistan has to be told by Pakistanis in a positive manner. If we Pakistanis will consistently keep on giving a negative story of Pakistan, अगर हम भी खुद ही शामिल हो जाएंगे अपने ऊपर खुद कुछ हमले करने में, तो फिर पाकिस्तान की स्टोरी जो है ना वो सही नहीं होगी। हाँ, हम बेशक पाकिस्तान से, आप लोग पाकिस्तान से बाहर हैं, मुझे पता है कि आप ओवरसीज पाकिस्तानी हैं, अमेरिकन पासपोर्ट भी है आपके पास, सब कुछ है, लेकिन आप लोगों की रूह फंसी वहीं पे हुई है। सो यू कैन टेक अ पाकिस्तानी आउट ऑफ पाकिस्तान, बट यू कैन नॉट टेक पाकिस्तान आउट ऑफ अ पाकिस्तानी। इट्स एज सिंपल एज दैट, राइट? सो यू हैव टू नरेट द स्टोरी। नाउ यू कैन टेल योर फ्रेंड हु वुड question you. Oh, but you know, you create so many terrorists. Oh, wait a minute. Who told you that? Confront it, negate it, propagate against it. Don't shy away from it. बोलिए but Osama bin Laden was there. वो भाई 20 साल तो आप लोगों ने लगा दिया उसको ढूंढते ढूंढते, तोरा बोरा के पहाड़ों की ऐसी की तैसी फेर दी आप लोगों ने कि जी इधर है, हमने मार दिया, कभी उसको कहा कि जी मर गया, किसी गार में पड़ा हुआ है, ये है वो है। वो आपको नहीं मिला, आपके पास तो जदीद तरीन टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, ठीक है। So there are so many questions that can be asked. अभी एक जो भी हमारे पड़ोस ने हमारे ऊपर इल्जाम लगा दिया, अभी कुछ हुआ नहीं, 5 मिनट के अंदर हमारे ऊपर इल्जाम लगा दिया। So what I'm saying is that you can't allow the other side's story to go unchecked. You have to make the narrative yourself. And as entrepreneurs, let me tell you, Pakistan is an exceptionally great business destination. As vice chairman of DP World, I want to tell you this as well. This is a very interesting. So I was entrusted by the government of Dubai, and I was appointed as vice chairman for DP World in Pakistan. And I was told, okay, find us avenues of investment in Pakistan. So I want to tell you something very interesting. We have already deployed a major investment, हमने कागजी कार्रवाई नहीं की। We've deployed a massive investment into Pakistan, DP World, and I am now working on an $850 million investment plan for Pakistan. That includes a $430 million corridor of Karachi-Pipri corridor, which is to move cargo inside of Karachi to decongest the city, to bring the environmental and carbon footprint down and to work. And the second one is कि हमारी जो train ML2 है उसके ऊपर, which is another $600 million. So about $1 billion will go out of only DP World, Dubai Ports World, into Pakistan. And why? They're not doing me a favor, because Pakistan promises you returns on these investments. They see the potential that Pakistan has for these investments. That's why we are going into Pakistan in such a massive way. This is what we are focusing on. So we have signed, we have just introduced 1,200 trucks, new trucks in Pakistan. Each truck comes with 4 drivers, meaning we've created 800 jobs already, which affects 4,800 households, right? We've built 3 state-of-the-art, which already built. मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ हमने already deploy कर दी investment. We've built 3 state-of-the-art logistics parks, Karachi, Lahore, Rawalpindi, already built. One of them is coming online this August, right? Which will improve our supply chains massively, right? Creating thousands of new jobs. We have a state-of-the-art terminal at Port Qasim in Karachi, QICT, DP World terminal, which is the best performing terminal of Pakistan at this particular time and stage for both import, export and transit trade, right? And we continue to look at other opportunities. I am now working, I've started doing research because I personally believe, and I've told my team in DP World that we have to take into account the potential of cold chain, for instance. अब आपको पता है cold chain क्या होती है? Cold chain, for those you don't understand, I'll quickly tell you. So supply chain होती है आपकी कि जी फैक्ट्री में प्रोडक्ट बना, लोड हुआ गाड़ी में, गाड़ी पहुंची एयरपोर्ट पे, एयरपोर्ट से जहाज़ों में लोड हुआ, प्रोडक्ट चला गया अपनी डेस्टिनेशन कंट्री जहाँ पे भी जाना है एक्सपोर्ट के लिए, सो फोर्थ, जो भी पूरी है। अच्छा, वो जो रॉ मटेरियल आ रहा है उस टेक्सटाइल को बनाने के लिए, वो कहाँ से आ रहा है, टाइम नहीं पहुँच रहा है, द होल सप्लाई चेन। उस तरह कोल्ड चेन होती है जो आपको बेसिकली रिक्वायर्ड होती है फॉर एग्रो प्रोडक्ट्स, फॉर फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स एंड ऑल दैट। तो पाकिस्तान हर साल एक एस्टिमेट है कि $200 मिलियन की चेरी हमारी cherries, you know, we have some beautiful cherries in Pakistan. वो हमारी $200 मिलियन की चेरीज वेस्ट हो जाती हैं। वो डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में क्यों होता है? जब फल तोड़ा जाता है ना दरख्त से कासिम, तो वो उसकी लाइफ उसी वक्त उसका लाइफ साइकिल शुरू हो जाता है। अगर उसको क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल्ड एनवायरनमेंट में वेयर हाउस में ना रखा जाए, उसको फ्रोजन अपना रेफ्रिजरेटेड ट्रक्स के अंदर मूव ना किया जाए, तो शॉर्टन हो जाती है लाइफ। अब क्या होता क्या है, जो लोकल फार्मर है उसके लिए तो वो है ना, उसने पिक कर ली है चेरी, तो वो जितनी जल्दी माल काटेगा उसको अच्छा रेट मिलेगा उसका, और वो जितनी पुरानी होती जाती है कोई भी फल, वो उसका रेट गिरता जाता है। एंड में अगर आप लोग कभी पाकिस्तान की फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल मार्केट में जाए तो आप कभी नोट कीजिएगा, बहुत सारा गला हुआ फ्रूट और वेजिटेबल पड़ा होता है कूड़े के ढेर के अंदर, बिकॉज वो जो भी बेचारा ट्रेडर लेकर आया होता है, अगर वो नहीं बेचा होता तो ही थ्रोज इट, ही डिस्पोजेस इट ऑन। So we lose out on potentially $200 million worth of exports every year because we don't have the cold chain facilities available for cherries. That's just one particular fruit that I'm telling you about, right? Mangoes, कितने हमारे अभी आमों की बात होती है, आमों की भी कोल्ड चेन है बहुत लिमिटेड, हमारी कैपेसिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है, मगर हमारे पास अवेलेबिलिटी जो है स्टोरेज की, क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल वेयर हाउसेज रीफर्स की, वो बहुत लिमिटेड है. So we can increase our exports that way. So we want to basically invest, as DP World wants to invest in ensuring that we can actually enhance Pakistan's exports. We make money off of it, of course. You know, if somebody is doing a particular business and they're moving their cargo with us, we make money. But in order for us to generate cargo, we want to make sure that any country that we are operating in, that country has the right environment, that their businesses should flourish so that cargo is generated. So DP World currently is across 90 countries around the world. We have 185,000 plus employees around the world, right? We operate some of the biggest ports around the world. That includes the Jebel Ali port and Port Rashid in Dubai, Port Qasim in Karachi, but also Australia के 5 बड़े ports में से 4 ports में वो हमारी management में, हांगकांग में हमारा पूरा एक terminal है, चाइना में 2 ports के ऊपर हमारे terminals मौजूद हैं, कनाडा के 5 both east and west coast में से 3 terminals are under DP World's control. The entire African continent we have surrounded. We are London Gateway, one of the biggest European ports, is with us. It's a DP World concession. So we go into a country, we look at the potential of the country, and then we try to enhance the economic activity. Jitni economic activity hogi, utna zyada cargo generate hogi, inwards and outwards, and that's our goal. So I'm just saying to you, is Pakistan is a great destination to invest in. It's a great, whether it's tourism. अभी ये बता रहे थे कि एविएशन को हेलीकॉप्टर में, I bought a helicopter. And it's arrived in Pakistan. It's an Augusta Westland 109. And so you must be thinking, why a helicopter in Pakistan? I want to tell you, such a strange thing I'll tell you. In the luxury sector or in that sector, we have so many foreign executives that are coming in for different things, for mining operations ke liye, Recordec ke liye, so forth, and for other options, and oil and gas, and this and that, the other. They can't find, when they come in, they land in Samba, वो अपने private jets में आते हैं, and then they need to go to a field visit or they want to go to a smaller destination and all that. They end up hiring helicopters which are really old aged helicopters, Russian Mi-17s वगैरह वो है. They don't feel safe और बहुत सारी कंपनियों के executives को insurance cover नहीं करती कि इस तरह के इतने पुराने जहाज में आप नहीं सफर कर सकते. So we looked at a gap in the market and we decided, you know what, we're going to start that. And not only that, we made it a point कि जो hotel properties हमारा एक अताबाद में हमारा hotel है, which is already operational. This one will be operational, as I said, in August in Natyakali. In both the hotels, we made a helipad. So we will take our guests on a helicopter if you want to buy that service. You can come and we'll deliver you to the hotel property and then bring you back. But other than that, there are all these executives that are coming to Pakistan consistently that need that service. And so we've done our feasibility backed by numbers again, by all the potential, and it makes money. It's an expensive proposition. It's a $2.5 million helicopter that we bought. And it has running expenses, almost $4,800 an hour, but it is workable. It actually works, right? So that's why we've done it. We shock में नहीं किया गया चलो helicopter भी ले लेते हैं. ऐसे नहीं है. There is some reason and logic. Pakistan is a great destination to invest in. Pakistan has challenges like every society does, right? But that should not scare you from. And let me tell you something. Entrepreneurs in Pakistan are unbelievable. Because with all these challenges, with law and order, theft, chori, with corruption from government offices, वो आके उनको bully करते हैं, with political parties asking for bhatta, with all of those challenges, they fight those challenges and at the same time do business and do outstanding business. I want to tell you a quick story about a lady who's a widow in Karachi, who started a cake baking service from her residence about 7-8 years ago to support the kids because the father unfortunately untimely dead. Started selling those cakes on WhatsApp groups, okay? Today generates sales worth 700,000 to 800,000 rupees, 7 से 8 lakh रुपए daily. Daily. चीज़ केक इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट वांटेड, चीज़ केक इज़ वेरी मशहूर इन वो, बट इट्स द मोस्ट सॉट आउट वो, और चूंकि वो लिमिटेड कैपेसिटी है उनके ओवन्स की, तो वो जितने बनते हैं बस वही हैं। वो कहती हैं भाई इतनी बनते हैं, अब इतनी जब बिक जाते हैं तो बस ठीक है, ख़त्म, अब ख़त्म तो ख़त्म, मतलब ये आई कांट इंक्रीज दिस वो। सो आप सोच रहे होंगे कैसे, मैं आपको मैथ बताऊंगा तो आप परेशान हो जाएंगे। सो द केक इज़ अबाउट 12,000 to 15,000 rupees.
I'm trying to figure out
What, right? So it's 15,000.
Kitchen cuisine?
नहीं, किचन कुजीन तो बहुत पुरानी है, और पाई इन द स्काई इज अ वेरी ओल्ड बुक।
It's her name.
इट्स वो आंटी का नाम है बकायदा,
आंटी का
बट वो
नाम है।
आई वाज शॉक्ड टू
Oh,
नो
I see.
कि वो उनका जो बैंकर है वो मेरा जानने वाला है, जो उनका वो अकाउंट भी उनका, तो उससे मैंने कहा कि भाई वो डेली कैश आता है। आई वाज लाइक ओके, दैट्स अमेजिंग, दैट्स ट्रू, दैट्स एंड दैट्स बाय द वे माइंड, दिस इज द कराची बेस्ड बिजनेस, बिकॉज she does not have the supply chain, the cold chain available. If the cakes are kept in freezing environment and taken to other cities, so she doesn't have that distribution available to her. But I'm just giving you a small example of things that happen in Pakistan, and that entrepreneurs, outstanding entrepreneurs, and this is just one example. If I take you, there is one farmer or farm house owner in Karachi. He has just cultivated the first ever small batch crop of a Japanese mango, which retails for almost $1,200 or $2,000 a kilo.
Oh wow.
Right? It's a particular specialized Japanese mango. वो पर्पल कलर का आता है। वो उसने कराची में उधर अपना मलीर में अपने फार्म हाउस में उन्होंने अपना जो है वो बना लिया, उगा लिया, और you know, say it can be done here. And you know that just now, about a month ago, olive oil extracted in Balochistan, Pakistan, won the olive oil some competition here in New York.
Right.
Against Lebanon ka aaya hua olive oil and these other brands that were there, this one particular one. So look, the stories are outstanding. These are the stories you need to be focusing on. ठीक है ना? These are, if you keep on looking at the stories, वो जो हमें सनसनी फैलाने के लिए वो रहता है, या एक वो bias से loaded जो stories है, भाई वो है, आपकी हकीकत है, मैं उसको तो डिफेंड नहीं कर सकता यहाँ पे बैठ के, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ आपसे ये रिक्वेस्ट और अपील कर सकता हूँ, डोंट लेट दैट बी द स्टोरी ऑफ पाकिस्तान, दैट कैन नॉट बी द स्टोरी ऑफ पाकिस्तान, इट इज द स्टोरी दैट यू एंड आई विल टेल ऑफ पाकिस्तान, दैट नीड्स टू मैटर, दैट्स द स्टोरी वी नीड टू टेल.
I know we'll get kicked out maybe in 15 minutes, but I'll tie
No, we have
back
time,
to.
yeah.
No, I was just kidding. वे परेशान हो गए नहीं
हमें ठंडे खाने की आदत है, कोई मसला चलो ये निकाल ली.
Go on.
ये भी कल हम सच से खबर हो जाएगी कल न्यूज़ में.
Exactly. Back to the humanitarian causes and all that. So this is how I came across Fakhar bhai. It was through the charity that we are part of, which we have an event tomorrow. But if there are, before we get to that, if anybody else have any questions, because I want to bring full circle.
So I just want to ask one
Yeah,
question.
yes, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Because today खाने की बात की, so you had an amazing journey that we didn't talk about. You're the first Pakistani or the only Pakistani to fly around the world
Yeah.
solo, and you have some really funny stories about that.
I do,
So
I do.
if you can share something.
I do. So, you know, those are 18 mein ji. So I wanted to be a pilot all my life as a child, and I couldn't do that because life dictated differently. Then I went into show business and all these other things and everything. So in 2015, I had some money and I had some time, and I decided that I'd get my license, my pilot's license. So I came to the United States of America and I got my private pilot license here in Florida at Kissimmee Airfield, and PPL का license आ गया. Then I said, okay, I'm a pilot. Oh, wow! And so my childhood dream has come true. But what I got to do something more with this. फिर मैं आया, मैंने instrument rating कर ली, 10 दिन का वो था, instrument rating भी ले ली. फिर आया तो twin engine rating ले ली. मैंने कहा, but there's got to be more. I don't want to be an airline pilot because I enjoy this as a passion, and I don't want this to, you know, turn out to be a job. So then I was Google searching and I realized that no Pakistani had ever circumnavigated the globe in an airplane, rather in any form of transport, any mode of transport. So I said, okay, this is an interesting thing, I could do this, let's do this, let's go around the world. अच्छा वो मैंने भी प्लान किया, मैंने जाके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर दी कि आई एम गोइंग टू अटेम्प्ट दिस, बड़ा मैंने वो बड़ा कराची प्रेस क्लब में, आई रिमेंबर द प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस वो हो गई. उसके कुछ 6 महीने बाद देयर वाज एन अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानी फादर सन, Salman Haris, Babar Haris, they started their journey from California. And so they went, I said, oh, well, there was my record. I wanted to be the first, so I won't be the first. I'll still do it because I want to do it for myself. but you know, but unfortunately उनके जहाज तैयारे को हादसा पेश आया the Pacific Ocean, and both the father and son lost their life in that. Now all of a sudden that started playing psychologically in my head. Okay, this is a serious thing that I'm trying to attempt. Anyway, so in 2018, on the 9th or the 10th of October, I took off from Clearwater, Florida, for my journey around the world. It took me 23 days to fly around the world. There are certain rules to this in order to qualify as a circumnavigation. Number one is that you must fly a minimum of 48,000 kilometers or 26,000 nautical miles, because that's the circumference of the planet. Number two, you must go through all the time zones. You must crisscross the equator twice. You go once down and go above it. You must cross the international date line once. You have to cross through the international date line. So you must go through all the longitudes. So time zone ka matlab ye hai ki wo hai. So I went on that journey. It took me 23 days. And in that journey, various things happened. I wrote a book about it as well. It's out there. I realized then after the book was published that Pakistanis are not into books that much. Much rather, the sales were rather disappointing, but that's fine. Even though I put a lot of pictures in it, but it didn't really help that much. So, उसमें हुआ ये था कि रशिया में उतरा था, and this was I think the 17th or the 18th day. I flew out of Japan at 5 a.m. and 4 a.m., 3 a.m. rather, and I landed in Russia early morning, and so I've come out, and to cut, because it's a long story and it's pretty challenging, what really happened there was that the Russian visa that I had on my passport was specifically me to enter Russia, क्योंकि मेरा फ्लाइट प्लान पहले से बना हुआ था, तो वो था कि जी 26, 27, 28 अक्टूबर की ये डेट्स है कि आपने रशिया एंटर करना है. उसके बाद once we enter, then we have the 15-day period to stay. 15 days was all I was allowed to stay. So I just had to stop in 3 cities of Russia and then go on across the Bering Strait into Anchorage, Alaska. Basically. So what had happened was that when I got stopped for a day in extra day in Australia because of a typhoon, and that kind of set me back, by a day and all and everything. थोड़ा सा departure में भी हरिकेन माइकल आ रहा था उस 2018 में, इधर डिपार्चर मेरा लेट हो गया था, तो वो खैर आई थॉट आई मेक अप फॉर द टाइम, एंड आई अराइव्ड देयर एंड आई वेंट टू इमिग्रेशन मेरी कर रहे थे, तो वो उसने कहा बिग प्रॉब्लम. मैंने कहा व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम, वो भी 15-20 मिनट के बाद, तो प्रॉब्लम बिग योर वीजा एक्सपायर टुमारो. मैंने कहा यस, इट एक्सपायर्स टुमारो, आई एम हियर टुडे, एंड वंस आई एंटर्ड आई हैव 15 days. Oh, your visa expire tomorrow. I said I know that, I understand. So let me in. No, but why is it a problem? If it's expiring tomorrow, I'm here today, right? It's a 3-day visa. So वो उसने फिर ना वो उसके टेबल पे पुराने वाले कैलेंडर में थे, वो जो उस पर लगे, वो उसने उठा के ना मुझे दिखाया, योर वीजा एक्सपायर टुमारो. वो yesterday को tomorrow कह रहा था. Your visa expired. So basically, Russia is such a big country that I was on top of Japan. और Japan से मैं north गया था, उनका एक island है Yusuf. If I had landed in Moscow, I was absolutely okay to go. But over there, I was not okay to go. तो वो कोई 36 घंटे जो है, उन्होंने मुझे जो है, अब वो एक इशू ये था, अमेरिकन जहाज था, नवंबर रजिस्टर्ड एयरप्लेन, पाकिस्तानी पायलट था. उनको मेरा ख्याल है वो अफगान वॉर याद आ गई सारी चीज़ें, ठीक है ना. उन्होंने जो है वो कुछ 36 घंटे जो है मुझे अपने पास रखा, और पहले कोई 12-14 घंटे जो है उन्होंने मुझे बिल्कुल ऐसे ट्रीट किया कि जैसे मैं जो हूँ वो जेम्स बॉन्ड हूँ, और उन्होंने पकड़ लिया जेम्स बॉन्ड को, और मैं हंस रहा हूँ, और वो मुझे जो है रशियन अंग्रेजी में बात ही नहीं करते थे, और वो रशियन में मुझे जो है ना वो बातें सुनाते थे. मैं कहता था आई डोंट स्पीक रशियन, आई डोंट नो व्हाट यू सेइंग. तो उनका इंसिस्टेंस ये थी कि तुम जहाज़ लेके वापस जाओ. मैंने कहा मैं तो अगर कि वापस गया तो मेरा तो खत्म हो गया सारा, आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू कंप्लीट माय circumnavigation, and this is something you can't do over and over again, and the rules are that you must continually do it. ये नहीं हो सकता कि 3 महीने बाद में दोबारा यहाँ से यहाँ चला जाऊँ. It doesn't work like that. So I took a stand that day. I said no, and let it be. And then things got out of hand there. वो मैंने एक फ़ोन मेरा जो था उन्होंने चेक नहीं किया, वो मुझे जैकेट ला के दी तो उसमें फ़ोन था, वो फ़ोन मिल गया मुझे. मैंने फ़ोन ऑन किया, चूँकि मुझे कॉल वॉल कुछ नहीं करने दे रहे थे, उन्होंने डिटेंशन में रखा हुआ था. And I turned on the phone, मेरा पाकिस्तान का सेल फोन था, मैंने ऑन किया, तो ऑन किया तो उसमें SMS आया, वो जब खुलता है ना फ़ोन, आपने बंद किया होता है तो आपके WhatsApp मैसेजेस आते हैं, उस ज़माने में उसमें SMS, डेटा नहीं चल रहा था, डेटा नहीं उस पर रोमिंग में, तो SMS आया 50% ऑफ पिज़्ज़ा हट क्लिफ्टन ब्रांच। ओए ये तो कराची का SMS आया, इसका मतलब है फोन इज द टेक्स्ट मैसेज वर्किंग। मैंने फिर वहाँ से टेक्स्ट किया, पहले आई टोल्ड माई वाइफ दैट यू नो आई एम डिटेन्ड, देन माई ब्रदर, देन सम अदर फ्रेंड्स, एंड देन इट गॉट अक्रॉस। और मज़े की बात ये है कि आई एम डिटेन्ड, ओके, इमिग्रेशन इशू, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning in Pakistan. So by the time in the morning, when I came back, कि मुझे पता चला कि सुबह 6-6:30 बजे पाकिस्तान में ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ सारे चैनल पे चल रही थी। पाकिस्तानी अदाकार गुलकार फखर-ए-आलम मॉस्को के हवाई अड्डे में गिरफ्तार कर लिए। अब कहाँ मॉस्को है और कहाँ मैं बैठा हूँ, बट उसका, and again you have to look at the positives of it. I look at it as a positive, you know why? Very few people knew that I was going around the world till that thing happened. After the breaking news happened, everybody then started probing and found out, you know, he's actually traveling around the world. Oh, that's a very unique thing that he's doing. So I look at the positive of it. And of course, it's behind me. वो जब हो भी रहा था ना मेरे साथ, तो वो मुझे जो धमकी देते थे कि यार big problem, 5 years jail in Russia. You know Russia prison? तो मैं कहा भाई तू पाकिस्तान ले, मिडिल आ रहे पागल है। You know, but I got through it after 36 hours. Finally issued me a new visa, and I continued with my journey. So yes, that was वो. But उसमें मेरे बहुत सारे और भी when the book has it all, please buy it. So this was a teaser. This was just a teaser.
Amazon पे book.
Sorry?
Amazon के ऊपर?
It was on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's there anymore, but I'll check. I'll ask my publisher. Because the publisher I know has a lot of copies still and keeps calling me, "Yaar, le jao yahan se."
What's the name?
Sorry?
Book का नाम?
Mission Parvaz. Mission Parvaz.
Any other questions from anyone?
Please.
Any chance of seeing Yadaga?
So music, so 2005 was my defining moment. As I told you about the earthquake and all that, it changed a lot of things in me. And I wanted, this is, you know, interesting. It's, if you look at my musical career, you see that after 2005, I kind of stopped performing and touring and doing an album, and I just lost interest. Because I had seen so many traumatic things in my life that I didn't go towards religion as per se, but I just found myself not finding the energy in me to do music. Because my music was always about having fun and all that. I was not into love songs and all of that. It was more about having fun and, you know, so I just lost interest. There was something that because I used to have, before the late Junaid Jamshed passed away, तो जुनेद और मैं कराची में हमारा आमने सामने घर होता था डिफेंस में, मेरी बड़ी उससे बात होती थी, तो वो he used to interpret it, he said okay that's it, हो गया तुम्हारे साथ जो होना था, तो ये तुम्हारी रूह की कॉलिंग है, तो वो, but he would ask me that you should maybe come towards this side and, you know, start with वो, मैंने कहा okay Junaid, this is not how I'm, you know, it's not as if I want to completely which is not bad, there's nothing, you know, but it's, my journey is probably different, right? So since then, every now and then I do want to do a song, and I do sometimes, you know, I get together with a friend who do it and all that everything. But no, there's no chance of seeing anything. You can only see torn jeans. That's all.
So maybe just one.
Yeah,
Ji sir.
Yeah. So before I ask the question, it's a short question, but we tell the story of Pakistan brilliant. So keep doing that. That's great. You mentioned that Pakistan has great opportunities, especially for business, right? What do you find that, what is there in Pakistan? Why is it such a great place, despite all these challenges that you just mentioned? So what is, besides the 240 million consumers, out of 50% of those are maybe
Below the poverty line, we just had that data that has come out about it.
Yes.
How are we going to alleviate them out of the poverty? लेकिन कैसे निकालेंगे अपने माशरे के वो लोग जो हमसे, you know, less fortunate हैं? The only way we can do that is for the economic prosperity to happen. How can economic prosperity happen if new businesses are not established? Right? That's number one. Then the logic why a business should invest in Pakistan? Simply because the demand is there. So I'll give you an example. He introduced one thing you guys noticed. I own a brand called Squad. It's a deodorant and body spray brand which we manufacture in Pakistan. And I'll tell you how it started. You know, when the PDM government, the first one came in, we had serious economic issues. It looked like we were going towards a default and all that. तमाम imports के ऊपर stoppage हो गई थी, if you remember कि जी नहीं, you cannot import. First priority will be petroleum, energy, and then medicines and all that. We didn't have enough reserves and all that and everything. And heavy duties were levied on imported luxury because perfumes and deodorants were thought to be a luxury product that needs to be, stocked and all that. But the demand was there. People still wanted them. अब वो जो 400 रुपए वाला कैन था उनका, वो अचानक उन्होंने इतनी ड्यूटीज इम्पोर्ट टैरिफ्स रखे, जो आप लोग the tariffs that you are experiencing in America, the tariffs are put so high कि वो 400 रुपए वाली बोतल ना 680 और 700 रुपए की हो गई. So I thought, wait a minute, that means we have an opportunity here. And I immediately probed into it. And because I was doing a cricket show and all that and everything, I said, perfect, नाम भी मैंने squad ऐसे ही उसमें से निकाला कि squad रखेंगे और we launch it, and we launched it. And Pakistan is a market of 3 million cans, the body spray cans. We do 3.2 million cans a month. That's the market size of it. We now hold 37% of that market share, right? And my goal is that we should be able to do 60 to 70% because we still have the imported brands coming in that are coming through smuggled channels, right? So we want to make sure that we defeat that are local. So local brands, again quickly to just, so pet food के ऊपर import के ऊपर उन्होंने ban लगा दिया. उन्होंने कहा you cannot happen. And if you remember, there's a Pakistani journalist, Gharida Farooqi, she also tweeted that my cat can't get her pet food from, where. And when the customs data came out, we found out that Pakistan imports $400 million worth of pet food every year. Import में आता है हमारे 400 million. तो government मना करती है कभी ये, what is this nonsense? So there's a friend of mine who is a dog lover, dog breeder in Lahore, and वो उसके भी सारे आने बंद हो गए. But he has some 17 dogs at home and all that. He had to feed them. So what did he do? He started getting dog food made at home. Use whatever was available on YouTube से सीख साख के वो किया. उसका देखे जाके में वो जितने वो pets and वो dogs and kennel वाले जो हैं, एक ने कहा यार मुझे भी यार तू बना के दे दिया करे, वो दे दिया करे. Today he has a business, a local pet food business. Right. Also another thing that you need to know, cheddar cheese, the cheese would import होती थी पाकिस्तान में. Almost $300 million worth of cheese every year was imported into Pakistan. Why? Because all the fast food joints, all the pizza shops in Pakistan needed the cheese. All of a sudden, our own people, dairy people realized कि okay, there's an opportunity. They started making local cheese. अब वो सारी local cheese आती है, जो कि बैन हो गई थी बाहर से आनी. So जब ये थोड़ा सा ना challenge के अंदर आपको opportunity नजर आती है, if it's up to you कि whether you look at the opportunity or you keep cursing the challenge कि यार देखो काल आके मैं फंसा दिया या वो करके. So I see that you have to look for the opportunities are there. आपको आप जाके देख लें मोटरसाइकिल, आप देखें कितनी मोटरसाइकिलें पाकिस्तान में बन रही हैं, assemble हो रही हैं. We are not very far away that we might be able to make our own motorcycles. At least electric motorcycles, and eventually I see that EVs or at least electric motorbikes or motorcycles or bicycles are going to be manufactured fully in Pakistan. It's only a matter of time. There is this company Aerosoft who are doing cellular phones that are being assembled. So Apple went and put up a big facility in India. But this other company, South Korean company, put up a facility for Samsung devices in Pakistan. You have all these opportunities there that are screaming, we have an opportunity, you need to come and invest. So, please, again, that's what we should focus on. But the demands are there. But वो जो 40% है, the 43% below poverty line, उनको ऊपर लाने का सिर्फ एक ही तरीका है भाईजान. We cannot just expect the government should just give. You can't give people. That's not the way to do it, right? They need to work. एक तो हमारे लोग जो बहुत सारे complain भी कर रहे होते हैं, आपको मैं सच्ची बात बताऊं इसमें, they don't want to work. There is a very large chunk of Pakistanis that don't want to work. Large chunk कह रहा हूँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ, I like to work. Trust me, I love to work. But I'm just telling you is that they don't like to work. And I keep saying to them that unless you अपने आप को आप जब खुद ही जोर नहीं लगाएंगे तो how do you expect this to happen? I mean, you can't expect the government will subsidize everything for you. We've got to move on. I have to tell you something. Afghanistan, under this Tehreek-e-Taliban Afghanistan government right now, are doing such unimaginable work. They have the girl education issue and all those challenges there. आपको पता है उन्होंने हमें किसी को पता ही नहीं चला चाइना के साथ बैठ के उन्होंने एक पूरी की पूरी ट्रेन की वो पटरी बिछा दी है which connects the Iran-Afghanistan border and goes on the other side and goes all the way to China now. While we are still figuring out CPAC के फट्टे मसले and ML1 की train की line और ये वो. So you have to understand that, you know, the opportunities in this, in today's, and Dubai teaches you the most. One thing Dubai taught me is think big, dream big, don't be afraid to dream big. Yes, you dream big, you think big, failure can be also equally big, but that's fine. Unless you take the risk, and that's what entrepreneurs are all about. It's about risk taking, your appetite, to ability to take risk. If you can't take the risk, you won't get the rewards. But if you can take the risk, what Dubai has taught me, the most valuable thing, they look at the country. Dubai is a city-state, right? It's an independent because it has its own ruler, it has its own laws and everything compared to other world. But Dubai taught me one thing very simply. They are working towards a very simple thing. We want our city-state to be the most competitive, to be the most state-of-the-art, to have the infrastructure, to have the policy framework. Everybody should come here and invest here and do business here. It's a very competitive, you know, Saudi Arabia is now trying to do that, right? Kuwait is trying to do it, Bahrain is trying to do it, Qatar is trying to do it very hard. Qatar actually bought those World Cup rights so expensive and spent $90 billion into, you know, making it a success. It's a very competitive environment out there. So Pakistan cannot be complacent about this anymore. We do not have the luxury of this anymore. Look, we were staring down the barrel. तो देख रहे थे ना तो हमें तो ये नजर आ रहा था कि भाई डिफॉल्ट होना ही होना है और ठीक ठाक हमारा चैलेंज शुरू हो जाना है. We dodged that bullet, but now for the future we need reform has to happen today. Judicial reform चाहिए हमें, right? Tax की reform चाहिए आपको, FBR की reform चाहिए आपको, government services की reform चाहिए. और सब कुछ सीखना आपको क्या है, कुछ नहीं. मैं कहता हूँ दुबई की टेम्पलेट उठाएं और उसको मल्टीप्लाई करना शुरू करें. Dubai, I don't see. I have government. You know, you have to get your license, your car registration. We don't go anywhere. Everything happens on our phones. You know why? Because everything is linked with everything. My Dubai ID card is linked with everything. My bank account, my cell phone, my car, my वो जो fines हुए हैं वो भी online मैंने pay कर everything. You know, so they want you not to come to the government office. Do everything online and We actually have police stations in Dubai. There are no officers, no human beings inside. They're called e-police stations in Dubai. You walk in, just like an ATM machine, there's a machine, and it gives you all the options that you want to do the complaint, and then the keyboard is there, and then you do, and you get a ticket number, that you get an SMS, this and the other. किसी के खिलाफ करनी है, कुछ anything, it's right there and there. So you have to learn and try to do things now. हम अभी भी कुछ चीज़ों में हम अभी भी बहुत पीछे हैं. वो चीज़ें भी सही हो जाए ना. So take your spirit of entrepreneurship, match that with reform, with the demand that is available, and the ability to convert that demand into actual consumption. There is nothing but profit on the other side of it. Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to say thank you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule. So alongside आपने जो भी बताया reform का, if we were as overseas Pakistani wanted to invest, are there certain sectors, like अभी आपने ज़्यादातर जो बात की was imports, exports, but what about like tech sector or health sector?
Yes.
And two, like it's a two-part question. One, are there certain sectors that you recommend? And two, एक वो होता है ना भरोसे वाला आदमी मिले या you know, because we live here, how can we trust कि वहाँ पे you know like एतबार वाला बंदा मिलेगा या you know, can we trust the process over there?
So obviously you have to see it the way you're going to structure your investment. Okay, and I'll give you a short example. I am currently negotiating on one of my personal businesses with a partner, white American gentleman here in the United States of America, to invest in the US from there. And I will not be here. He's going to be running it. So we are building, firstly, the contract, how it's going to be, right? Of course, the justice system here is very different to what we have in Pakistan. So your challenges are very different. So you have to look for the right partner. That's very important. And then the HR that you do will also depend. They're not all bad people in Pakistan, right? You will just have to. It's very likely that you will find a bad person because you know we trust. We are, especially I notice our overseas Pakistanis, you know, because you live in a trust society. Ours is unfortunately not like that anymore. You have to look for the right kind of person. So I have a lot of people that work for me. I'm not in Pakistan, I live in Dubai. My own personal businesses, right? My partner in the hotel business. Hotels are serious business. DoubleTree, we have to maintain all the standards of DoubleTree Hilton, right? We have to, because as a flag operator, we need to, do a lot of compliance with it. You do find good people. It's not as if you don't have good people. You have good people. Coming on to the sectors, yes, tech sector is huge. Why? Because you've got so many young, as Sir was saying, young talent available who are looking for jobs, right? And you will find so many software houses, especially in Karachi, you'll be Karachi and Lahore both. छोटे-छोटे घरों के अंदर software houses बने हुए हैं. We're actually giving services to a lot of the companies here in the Silicon Valley, right? And they make very good money and everything. So there are opportunities there. Again, in health sector, there are plenty of opportunities. And while you talk about health sector, I'm going to quickly touch on Pakistan Children Heart Foundation. I was having, हमारे भाई हैं, Ran bhai, the founder of Pakistan Children Heart Foundation, and Misbah introduced me to him and all, and I heard his story and this whole hospital thing that we have. I want to tell you something very interesting. आज सुबह हम लोग बैठ के बात कर रहे थे, तो वो आपस में पाकिस्तानी बैठते हैं ना, तो हम अपने दिल की बातें खुल के भी करते हैं. अभी यहाँ पे आपने कैमरा मेरे पे लगाया हुआ, तो मैं बहुत सारी बातें कही तो आई बीइंग डिप्लोमेटिकली एज करेक्ट. ऊपर से काउंसिल जनरल साहब भी बैठे हुए, पता नहीं कौन सी उल्टी सीधी रिपोर्ट चली है. So I have to keep everything in check. But I'm just telling you is that, so we were having a conversation and we were talking about the certain challenges of Pakistan or issues or cribbing session जो चलता है ना, venting कर रहे थे हम लोग बैठ के ना. तो वेंटिंग हो रही थी, तो उसके बाद मैंने कहा लेकिन सोचें इन सारे मसले मसाइल और सिस्टम्स की इश्यूज के बावजूद आप ये देखें कि अल्लाह ताला ने इतना ज़बरदस्त बच्चों का अस्पताल बनवा दिया आपके हाथों और मिसबा के हाथों. बन गया, खड़ा है, बिल्डिंग खड़ी है, इमारत खड़ी है, उसका ओपीडी खुला हुआ है. इतने ऑपरेशन जिन्होंने ऑलरेडी करवा दिए. इतने चैलेंजेस के बावजूद कैंसर का अस्पताल बना गए जो मुफ्त इलाज करता है आज तक. इतने चैलेंजेस के बावजूद दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी वॉलंटियर एम्बुलेंस सर्विस पाकिस्तान में, कराची में. इतने सारे चैलेंजेस के बावजूद यू गेट ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, दीज मिरेकल्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान. These are the stories that we should be talking about, right? So with all said and done, so there are these things, and health sector is a great sector. And I would like all of you, I'd request you humbly that kal aap log please aaye. Wasim Akram and Misbah ul-Haq will be, and we'll be talking about the Pakistan Children Heart Foundation, and we'll have spirited exchanges and talk about our experience with the Children Heart Foundation and support the cause. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my hand that if you overseas Pakistanis, अगर आप लोग ना हो ना, मैं भी overseas Pakistani क्योंकि मैं दुबई में रहता हूँ, so I'm also part of you. But to you guys, especially here in North America, I really want to thank you. Because I've done a lot of fundraisers. I've done fundraisers for Shaukat Khanam. I've done fundraisers for Namal University. I've done fundraisers for ED Foundation. I have done fundraisers for DCF, for LRBT, Leighton Rahmatullah Benevolent Trust, for PCF. Now I'm regularly with Pakistan Children Heart Foundation because I've seen the hospital myself, and I really understood, the power of children and how important and valuable they are for our future and everything. So thank you all, because all of these things have been possible because of you people. So give yourself a big round.
Thank you for the break. And I'll thank Open. Yeah. I'll just tell you funny while we'll show you the video of the hospitals. If you're not aware of the project, you have to come tomorrow. We'll have you'll have a better host because we'll be trading or switching seats. He'll take my role. They'll be much more professional and lively. And on the other side, you'll have Wasim Akram and Misbah ul-Haq. So very quickly, Pakistan Children Heart Foundation North America here is supporting Pakistan's first dedicated children heart hospital. So the video will show you just exactly where the hospital is at. Event tickets left are about 8-9, but
दिखाते हैं पहले. Let people have a look.
Let's have a look.